Good morning, folks. Welcome to the briefing on Friday the 29th. 35 people on this meeting. Wow, fantastic. Yeah, got the forecast slightly wrong yesterday. I thought that sort of mid-level cloud would break up. We'd actually get some cumulus, but clearly not. It's not to say it wasn't soarable, because someone flew on their silver distance from Kenley to Lasham yesterday. I mean, pretty epic flight by the sounds of it. So it was soarable, but barely cross-countryable. Today, a little bit better forecast. Just put the overnight chart here. This sort of little cloud system here shows up on the chart, but it appears that it's come in and then is now moving back over the continent, because there's quite a lot of cloud over northern France, Holland, Belgium area at the moment that's moved away from us, and we're just in this sort of very slack easterly airflow. Pressure's been rising over the last 4 days, but I think a little bit of instability in there. Look at this little kink in the isobars here, so definitely some instability. And then over the weekend, these frontal systems here of the low pressure do make slow progress going across Scotland, so they're going to have some rain on Saturday and Sunday. And I think anything that comes anywhere near us is just going to be a very weak feature. I suspect this will hardly show up on the charts by Sunday. So what do the TAFs say? Well, Farnborough scattered at 3.5. Yeah, all the other forecasts seem to show that. But then again, they showed that yesterday, so I'm not putting my money on it just at the moment. Becoming 10k vis once we sort of get some mixing, I suspect, in morning. The winds just 0406 knots, again, light easterly, northeasterly, pretty much all day. Upper winds, as you would expect in the high pressure system, not much different. Down in the channel, 10 knots, middle of the country, even over us, 5 to 10 knots at flying heights just from a northeasterly direction, so fairly light. Sat pic shows quite a lot of low cloud and mist and fog here. Obviously, we're clear down here, and temperatures rising much quicker here than further north of us. This might take a while to burn off during the day, which obviously affect the soaring conditions to the north. Definitely looks, according to Top Meteo, that we are in the best area here. Temperature-wise, lots of contrast with various forecasts. I'll go with the BBC, who said about 14 to 15 degrees, 15 degrees in London. So 14 degrees over us. Various other forecasts are saying a little bit lower, but that seems to work for me. Dew points, currently they're around about 4s and 5s around the country. Lasham, it went down to about 1 degree last night on the dew point temperature. So, you know, if in a normal situation, you would expect the dew points, once the thermal mixing starts, to go down, and they would head down in that direction. Yesterday, the dew points, although we did have soaring, the dew points continue to rise, and they're about 6 to 7 yesterday, temperature about 13, 14. So it was a very bizarre soaring situation, that's for sure, and difficult to forecast. So looking at the soundings, this is the one over us or just to the south of us. See the lines here slightly further apart than they've been in the last 2 days, so less chance of sort of layered clouds sitting in there. Yes, strong inversion here, but this suggests with sort of 13, 14 degrees, and dew points, if they're around about 3, even sort of 3.5 to 4 above sea level. And if we do get cumulus, up to 5, 5.5. So looks quite reasonable. I looked at a few of the soundings further afield. This one would be up around the Bicester Buckingham area. Not quite so good, only 3,500 feet at best, with cloud in there. And further out to the west, This one, yeah, to the west of us, showing it looks like a little bit blue, really. So very sort of varied soundings over not a large area, really. That sort of Sherborne, Shaftesbury area. So quite varied. Definitely better around here. Lark Hill shows not a dissimilar picture to yesterday. That strong inversion there. That'll break. This one down here will break mid-morning, and then anything will sit under this. But you've got to remember this temperature line will come this way, and the inversion will slowly weaken and go up as we start to get thermal mixing. So I would say that it should be okay around here, 3,500 feet above site. And Top Meteo suggesting the same, starting here earlier than anywhere else by sort of 11 to 12 o'clock up to 3,000 feet, and then run it forward a couple of hours. We've got sort of 1,300 meters. So yeah, 3,500 to 4,000 feet around Lasham, but not quite so good out to the west. You know, only 1,000, 1,100 meters, and up around the Oxfordshire area, 1,000 meters. So quite a small area in here, which looks like the best temperature-wise and thermal-wise, and slowly getting better out to the west in the afternoon. Not really changing much. North of Oxford. Cloud amounts. Now, they showed this yesterday, and it didn't really pan out. It didn't really pan out yesterday. They're showing cumulus. Everything leads me to think there will be cumulus, unless the dew points drop dramatically and the air's dried out, then it will just be blue. But you know, looking at the data I've got at the moment, I think there will be Q. And best really in the Lasham area, up towards Oxford, spread out, Cambridgeshire spread out. And we're starting to see some influence from a frontal system out to the west. I've seen that on the infrared satellite picture. You can start to see the high cloud from that appearing out to the west of Cornwall just at the moment, and that will come into the West Country, I think, later on. So their suggested distance for a standard class glider looks like this. Best area around Lasham, good for a couple of 100k in the Lasham, Farnborough, Guildford area, but around here should be okay. We should get something out of it, maybe 100, 200k at least, maybe a little bit more. So fingers crossed. Right, that gives an idea of what's likely to be happening today and the weather. Other things to note: NOTAMs quite quiet today compared to yesterday. I suspect the military are winding down in one or two places, but they've still got parachuting over here, northern part of Salisbury Plain danger area, which has been raised to 10,000 feet, and the parachuting will be running from 11:30 to 1500 local. That's well inside the danger area, so you won't be there. Number 25, that was parachuting over Blenheim Palace early this morning. That's all finished. 9:30 it ends. So apart from that, fairly quiet in this area around here up to Nimpsfield, south of Bryce, and over us and out to the west. Very little to worry about. In terms of operation, yeah, rerun of yesterday, really, 09 runway operation. We have got, I have no idea if this is going to happen, a jet movement forecast. Now, I've seen 5 or 6 different emails from TUI with all sorts of timings on it, and the last one said 9 o'clock departure. One of them previously said a 9 o'clock departure, 9:10 arrival for the same aeroplane. So whether it was just doing a circuit, I really don't know. So at some point, there may be a jet movement. I'm not holding my breath on what the timing is going to be, but we'll just deal with that as and when we have it. So when you want to come out and fly, just bring the glider out to the runway and launch, and we'll all be set up. So I will see you out there fairly shortly, folks.